Hello, everyone. This is Eliani Campbell, the founder and the creator of the Phoenix Unleashed. Thanks for tuning in to the Phoenix Dialogues once again. Today, my guest is Helen Marie of HelenMarie.com. The topic for today is freedom. When I think of the definition of freedom, living and loving life and being true to you, this sister is the first person that comes to mind. The day I met Miss Helen Marie, her energy excited me, but at the same time, she left me feeling comfortable while in her presence, calm. I had to invite Helen to join me at the Phoenix Dialogues because I felt that her story needed to be shared with others. Tonight I want to welcome Helen Marie, and Helen, thank you for joining the Phoenix Unleashed. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, Eliani. I appreciate you having me on. I'm really excited to talk to you. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. How's things been going with you?
Everything is great. I'm recently relocated to Houston, Texas, and I'm really excited about that. New terrain, and it's warm. Even though it's January, it's pretty nice outside here, and I really love the sunshine. And I'm excited to just face some new fears and conquer some new territory and meet some new people and experience myself in a different capacity, so I'm pretty amped.
Okay. First of all, let me ask you this. Who is Helen Marie the woman?
Helen Marie the woman is a big kid while also an old soul. It's like I grew up kind of sheltered. Well, really sheltered. And I skipped a grade when I was little, so I was always the youngest in my class. So to a degree, I missed out on certain things that most children did, by choice in some ways as well. But so at the same time, while I'm an old soul, I'm a big kid. I'm always wanting to do things that children want to do or be around children and think like a kid in a lot of ways. Then at the same time, I'm totally an old soul, I like to read. I like to people watch. I like to do things that, like, old people do after they've lived a long, long life. And I actually enjoy it, I like wisdom. I love wisdom. It's my favorite topic of the day. And I feel that unlike some people of my age demographic that feel that they need to experience everything, due to some of my experiences, I actually would rather learn from other people's wisdom instead of having to experience everything. So it kind of gives me like a nice medium. I'm like a kid, but at the same time, I'm wise enough to know I don't want to do all the things I used to want to do, and so I like to hang around the elders, So, yeah, I'm a nice mix, I would say.
Okay. Now, Helen, you're a poet and you're a singer. That's what I know you as. And I'm sure you have so many other talents that I don't know about. But you use your voice. You have a beautiful voice in your creative side. You use those things to reach others and to express your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. How long have you been doing that? I mean, you said that you've always had an old soul and you kind of missed out on a few things as a kid, but how long have you been expressing yourself through fine arts and your creativity?
Yeah, well, and let me reiterate, when I say missed out on things, it just means that as a child, for instance, while everybody was at recess playing, I was sitting on the swings reading Nancy Drew books,
Oh, you sound like me.
Yeah, it means that I was sheltered in the sense that I grew up in a really, really religious background, so I didn't know who Tupac and Biggie were until they died, and I came to school and everybody was crying, and I was like, what's going on, But at the same time, the reason why I say an old soul, my first words were, my mom asked me a question when I was a little baby, like 2, and I said, not right now, Those are the first things I ever said on this planet that I know of. Anybody knows of. It's not right now. You know, a sentence, not words. So it's like I've always been like really aware of things. And so I don't know if that answers your question kind of. But as far as oh, wait, pause. You're going to have to edit this because, I forgot the question because I just laughed at myself.
Well, you sing and you perform. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, no worries, yeah. Well, I've been singing since forever. It seems like I was in church choir growing up. The first time I ever professionally sang as far as an individual was in 7th grade. I sang in the 7th grade talent show. Shout out to my old drama teacher, Miss Moore. She actually transitioned a couple weeks ago, but she was by far my greatest mentor when it came to me singing as a child, as a youth. She was the first person who ever actually saw it in me, my ability to be like a star. You know, she would always say, "You're a star." And I started singing like as an individual outside of choir because I was walking down the hall one day after school and I was singing, thinking nobody was listening, and she was like standing in the doorway and she heard me. So she made me come to her, and at that time I was still really shy. You know, I like to kind of stand in the shadows of my two best friends, and I was like the cool kid like everybody loved, but at the same time I didn't want too much attention, and she forced me to start singing again. And when she heard my voice, she was like, "You have to sing in the talent show." And I did not want to do it, but she was my teacher, so she made me, and every day I had to come to her class and practice for like 2 months. I'll never forget it, because every single day Miss Moore made me come sing. And then I sang in the talent show, and I won. And I remember I just couldn't believe I won. I was so surprised. But at the same time, I remember it felt so natural. You know, it was like I was so afraid. But then the minute I just started singing, all the fear went away. And then when I felt all the love from all my friends and stuff in class, and they were just rooting me on, it just felt so good. And then I just never stopped, you know. So.
Well, I'm glad your teacher pushed you and made you sing. She saw something in you that you didn't see at that time.
Yeah,
so she did. I have one thing. You are such a free-spirited person, and you're one of those type of people where your energy is contagious. You have lived a number of places. You've done a number of things, and you have no problem just relocating. Nothing stops you. If you feel like moving, you just move. You know, if you want to share a song or something, you just do that. I have on my blog, and the video is still up there because I love it so much, where you said it was impromptu and you were singing and the one guy was playing the guitar, and you all were like, I just met him. And I'm like, wow, where is the fear? I don't see it because my question is, where does your sense of freedom come from? Because you just like, hey, I want to do it, I'll just do it. And a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, the funny thing about fear is like it's so real. I mean, I feel fear every day. Every time, I think most artists will agree with me. Every time you're about to perform, if you really respect your craft, you're still afraid. Like a part of you is. A little fact I heard a while ago about Barbra Streisand, for instance. She always had like really strong stage fright when she first was in the game, and so she would make them like record her in an empty stadium first before the night of the show, and use that footage as the raw footage we would see on TV to make it seem like she was performing in front of the audience, but it was just pre-recorded, and she was that afraid. And
wow.
And so the thing is, I'm not that afraid anymore of it because I've been doing it so much. But every single time, I still get that feeling in my gut, like, oh. And, what I've just learned to do is push past it. It's kind of like you have to choose, like, okay, am I going to just not do what I just love to do, which is to sing, or am I going to be afraid? And for me, my fearlessness comes from knowing who I am. And the more I learn who I am, the less the fear is as potent as it can be. It's like as a child, I was always told I was great. From my mother, my aunt, and my grandparents. My lineage is so great within itself, so I had examples,
Mm-hmm.
and that really made an impact on me because no matter what was going on in my current, no matter where I was living, no matter how much money I had in my pocket, no matter, any of that type of stuff I could see with the eye, I kept feeling, sensing, knowing within myself, like, I'm great, I'm supposed to be great. So even when I felt like I wasn't being great, it forced me to push past it to be like, I need to be greater, because something in me knows it and knew it. And so that's always been like a driving force. It's like I've always known I'm supposed to be great. So it's like, not to say, like in that song you're referencing, Change, it says, I fall and I stumble, but I get up and I fight for life. I'm so ready for change. When I wrote that song, it's all about, yes, you fall, you find yourself in these situations where you're like, this is not me, this is not who I really am, this is not, who I'm supposed to be. But It's that knowing, and that's why I'm really passionate about people having knowledge of self, like knowing who you are, studying yourself, because that's where you truly, to me, find the power to overcome your fear.
Okay, so you pretty much answered my question, because my next question was, what would you tell a person that's paralyzed by fear? Because I know the fear is so powerful, and I know this from a personal point of view, because I sit and wonder, man, where I could be if I didn't have that fear to kind of stop me from, doing things that I want to do, such as even doing the Phoenix Unleashed. I was so scared. I remember I said, okay, I'm getting ready to send out I'm going to set up my Facebook page and send invites out. Something that simple. I was so afraid. I was like, are they going to not like it? Nobody's going to respond. And I was like, well, what the heck? You just do it, So for a person, like I said, what advice would you give to a person that's paralyzed with fear, if any?
Well, yeah, see, fear is one of those things. I love talking about it. I hate fear, so I love talking about it, because it's like, to overcome it, to me, is like the biggest aim we're supposed to strive for. And I have to say, even myself, like, I recently realized when I did all my numbers, did the math on all my different, like, internet sites and social media streams and stuff, I have like 10,000 followers. And I was like surprised. Like, I had no idea, because I don't really trip off of stuff like that, right? But honestly, to this day, there are many times, even just putting up a status makes me afraid to press send, because to give of yourself. What'd you say?
You got to be kidding me.
No. I'm telling you, every time I put up a video, I still feel a sense of fear. And it's not that I don't believe in myself. It's just that it's the vulnerability that I'm allowing other people to even look at this, that this either this thought, this idea, this concept. Like, it's cool for me to make and create it. It's cool for me to think it. It's cool for me to get this knowledge, this wisdom, whatever. But to share it is such a vulnerability, because now you're opening yourself to people's opinion. You're opening yourself up to, and people can be so cruel, you know what I'm saying, and people can be so rude, and then that people aren't going to necessarily be like you, so just by sharing, you're opening yourself up. You're allowing the possibility of somebody to be negative. So that alone can cause a certain level of fear. Not even fear of them, more so fear of me. Because, at the same time, you're striving to evolve, you're striving to maintain peace, so you don't want your lower nature to come out. So all these things are involved when it comes to being a creator, knowing that just by sharing your creation, you're opening yourself up. And so, yeah, it's still a fear thing there, I think.
No. It's odd that you say that, because my next question was, I said you appear to be so transparent and so open, and I was going to ask, why is that? You're so open.
Well, I tell everybody that I talk to that, like, for me, the whole Helen Marie movement I created for myself is really therapeutic for me. It's my way of sharing my journey. It's my way of letting people who are afraid live vicariously through me until they get their own inner strength to do, what they need to do to be free in their own lives. It's my way of just shining my light. And I'm not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual. And I know that everything we do makes a ripple effect across the universe. Like, every single thought, every single action affects everything in our cipher, everything connected to us. So